if we look at here, so if we look at the first one on the left, again, setup-wise, I like a lot of the stuff they're doing with your setup, okay, but that club's going back, it's okay to about here, but there's not really much wrist hinge going back. As you get to about knee-high with the club, that club's already starting to get behind now. As it continues on, level with the hands there, that club's gone inside. And again, at this point, it's actually open, yeah? So if the club's open, you've got to now square it and get the angle back in. The only way you can do that is dip, yeah? So the dip is almost a necessity for you. As you start getting to about here now, the club now is a bit behind you. Your hands are quite deep in terms of the swing. Facing this point is going to be a bit open, and now you've got to try and square it up by dropping down. Now, you drop down well in terms of hitting the golf ball, and when you get in a groove, you can play all right, yeah? But the amount in which you are or not going to do it is going to be fluctuating, okay? It's just, for me, sometimes it's just too big a window. I don't mind a little bit of dip and a bit of insight. That's fine. We've got to cover a few inches either way. And if we look at this one here on the right, these are obviously exact. That's too far outside, so there's an exaggeration there that you can do. But in some ways, the hands have actually gone outside. We want the hands to be coming in on the way back. So your hands are still, we talked about that last time, turning into this right hip here. The hands are still working in and around, okay? So we're moving the club back. So you watch this drill here now when I sort of came in. We don't want the hands to go out there as I was showing you. As we come in, you watch, this is a super, I mean, I'm pushing the club down. There's a wrist hinge here, and this feels massively exaggerated there. If I move the club back on, then it's the next or the third one, okay? There, if I come round here, look where that club is actually, it's not that far outside. Now, you look at a lot of tall players, they will be in that position. Their hands are over that left thigh and moving back. So if you stay there, out of the way, look at that takeaway compared to that takeaway. Yeah? Your arms are more connected together. You've basically taken your arms from setup and gone that way. So that red line in the middle of the iPad now is staying out towards you. I'm not taking it and going like that or rolling it inside. Yeah? So you're just moving your torso more. There you go, let's put that there would be absolutely perfect there, you see. So a little bit of wrist hinge now, sort of just setting the club head. And what we look for, is a phrase you may have, straight would help, may or may not have heard of, is that the club is going to work up the shaft line. So if that's the sort of shaft that's set up, where the club sort of sets up, the club now you can see works up that line, yeah? Yep. That's kind of literally perfect. If we can do that all the time, you're in a sort of very, very good position. The club now is going to swing on plane. That gets a little bit under, but marginal, okay? That's still within a good window. That's good again. But these to you feel as though they're exaggerated to hell and probably as cupped with your wrist as you could possibly imagine, which, as I said, at the moment, you're not. I mean, your wrist there, there ain't no cupping in your left wrist there, is it? So that would be where I want to see it probably at the moment now, just sort of between your hip there and your hands there. That would be okay. So you rehearse this as an exaggeration, and then we get the golf ball now, and as we were saying before, that guy said get the Nike bag, just do it, okay? All you're going to try and do now is swing the golf club with a feeling of maybe just that wrist hinge on the way back. You're not trying to position the club perfectly or do anything sort of too dramatic. Just think, okay, I'm going to hinge the wrist. Okay, so there's now, okay, so next frame. There you go. So the club is kind of in between there and there, basically. So it's moved from there inwards in half an hour of practice. Yep. In time, if you keep doing that over and over again, that club's going to get a lot deeper. The angle's going to be created now. So in terms of your dip, how much dip do we actually need? A little bit. And now we stay there. Yeah. So you've dipped an inch or two, which, to be fair, will allow that, okay? Your head's not going to stay perfectly still. Head can, as it back in the golf, or good path, okay? Good strike of the golf as we come through, okay? It feels very weird to you. And again, you're going to get a feel that you think, again, where do you think they're going to go when they do actually go straight? Where does it feel like? Way to the right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So that's going to be a big trust element, yeah? That you can stand there and think, especially if you go on holes where there's out of bounds there, you're going to think, oh, God, no. And you're going to hit, like the third, for example, you'll be like the 17th of the mat, not the 5th of the button, okay? You'll be just like definitely trying to go left. So, and again, we want to get to a situation where you can feel you kind of extend up through the shot, yeah? Gotcha. So the angle's better. You're turning into that hip. The hands are working around the arc while the club stays out in front, up the top, and then we can now, again, a little bit dip, the old McElroy sort of squat, but then from there, we're extending up through. If we get the club whipped in here, hit the ground now, all right? You're going to dip. And if you don't dip, as you said, you thin it. So it's all these changes that people make, they have to make sort of sense, because if you're not actually making the right move and you're taking the club in the wrong position, you're reacting. And you're good at reacting. You can react to it 6 times out of 10. And it's 6 out of 10 shots really nice. So there's 4 out of 10 that don't always quite go as well. And that's where the scores kind of implode a bit. For you to try and get that sort of score down and get under a certain number again, we've got to reduce the number of bad shots. So
cool.
Okay, have a couple more then, buddy. See if we get that groove and feel it in there, okay? And get that exaggerated feel on the takeaway. And then when it comes to hitting the golf ball, it's just hit the ball, maybe just have the word hinge in your wrist, yeah? That's the main sort of feeling on the way back.